Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. In this video, we're going to do some picture frame work again. As you can see up here on the wall, I have a little picture frame. And this video is going to be about this little picture frame right here. Now, I got to tell you a funny story. I didn't plan on making this picture frame a video. This is the frame I used to do some alternate methods of cutting the splines and cutting the rabbet and cutting a few other things from the real picture frame I'm building. But to be honest with you, that picture frame isn't ready yet. I'm waiting on Amazon to ship me the mat board that I want to use to put in there. So this one's complete, and quite frankly, we can make a video out of it. So I looked at the editing and there was enough there, so I'm just going to put this video out with me talking about this little frame. And next week you'll have another picture frame video, a cherry wood frame with mat boarding, how we cut the glass. I'm going to go through all of that in that one. So this is a little fun extra video, so to speak. Let's get on with the video. Alright guys, this project starts with some small sticks of pine. Picture frames really do not need much material to make. What I did is I took the two long pieces and the short piece I left full size, and I cut the rabbets out of the three boards. You can see I'm doing the rabbets here now, and the little pieces come out. Checking my blade for square before I get going here. Now I'm splitting the two small pieces apart so that they're individual, so that we can cut the miters. And in my last video I used my miter saw to cut miters. This time I'm using the miter gauge on the table saw. And here I am setting that up. And then we just go ahead and cut the miters. It's as simple as that. This is a very good miter gauge that does do accurate miters, and this frame came out nice and tight. The calculation to cut the miters is pretty easy. It's on the screen now. So once the miters were cut, I glue it up, and I did this the same way I did the whiteboard last week. All four corners go into this vise, and when I'm done with four corners, it's glued up. At this point, I need to mark for the cuts I'm going to make to put the splines in to strengthen this. And you're going to see in a minute here, I'm marking a line here where I want to cut, and I'm hand cutting these with a handsaw. And you can see, unfortunately, my vise is not the greatest on this bench, and it is a little funky, but I managed to get the cut down to the line. And then I took a thicker saw and made a second cut with a wider kerf that makes it available to put these little splines in. Now, I used pine for the splines, guys, and I would not recommend that. Use a hardwood here. I had to do a little filling with wood putty at the end when I cut these off, because the pine right here, you can see the pine kind of splintered a little and left a few holes in the side of the frame. The fact that I'm painting this really made it okay, and these cut off very easy. And, they provide a lot of strength in there in that kerf that I made. Here I am trimming the last one off, and we will get into sanding. At this point, when I was doing the sanding, I noticed I was going to have to do some filler work because a couple of those corners had some tear out. Not really a big concern because I was painting this frame and I knew I was painting this frame, so it worked out okay. Okay, I'm finally finishing up with the sanding, and I'm going to show you what was probably the best of the four corners before I add some paint. You can see here on a couple of the corners I do have some filler there before I put a coat of primer on. This is just a coat of white primer that I purchased actually to paint a door in my house, but it works fine for a prime coat. And I just brushed it on and let it dry. Once it dried, I took and sprayed a couple of coats of black spray paint to the frame to give it its final look. And once the couple of coats were put on, this frame woodworking and finishing was basically done. And we'll move on to glass cutting, which honestly, guys, cutting glass is not something you need to know how to do a picture frame. You can buy glass already cut in most sizes for picture frames, or honestly, go get a cheap frame at the dollar store and you can take that frame apart and steal the glass out of it to use. In the next video, I'm going to talk a little bit more about cutting glass. So for this one, I'm just kind of showing you that I did do it. And I did that from a broken storm window. I just took the biggest broken piece and cut this 4x6 out of it, which actually worked really well and became a free piece of glass. The next step is to have some form of a backer board. I'm just using a very thin piece of cardboard here for the backer. I just want something between the artwork, in this case a picture, and the glazing points I'm going to use to hold the glass and the artwork in. And this works very fine. You can see the artwork and the glass are already in the frame. We put the piece of cardboard in there and it provides a little buffer for these glazing points that you just kind of drive in to the pine, and it works very well. And as you can see, when I get all four in, I give it a good shake, and we have a mounted picture at this point. The last step is I'm going to use one of these little snaggletooth Z clips here to give it something to mount on the wall, and I drive these little brads in with the needle nose, because I will bash my fingers if I don't use the needle nose. Finish it off, and it's ready to hang on the wall. So from here, all that's left is to hang it on the wall, and it may look a little crooked, but that's actually the camera. I actually did hang it straight. Sorry about that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.